Environmentalists across the country are shifting their approach in the Trump era. With a federal government that seems unresponsive at best and hostile at worst, they're pushing for changes at the local level. And that means more scrutiny for local politicians, including Boston's Mayor Marty Walsh, who's taking some heat over a new natural gas project in the city. Adam Riley has more.
It's going to come up Berkeley Street.
Back Bay resident Jackie Royce is standing just outside Copley Square, describing the route of a new natural gas pipeline extension slated for her neighborhood and the South End. To say she's not a fan of the project would be an understatement.
Delay the approval of opening up the street and delay the approval of getting started.
Royce is active in the Neighborhood Association of the Back Bay, which has a bit of a reputation for NIMBYism. But Royce says her opposition is about principle and policy.
This was not a good idea to commit us to fossil fuel infrastructure when the city has climate change goals, and obviously things are happening around here.
Things like the catastrophic flooding that hit Boston this month, which the Sierra Club's Emily Norton also cites to explain her opposition.
We've just seen this extraordinary storm in Boston, dumpsters floating down streets, and it's just a reminder of how vulnerable Boston is to climate change. Knowing that, I would think that Boston would want to be leading.
For the record, Mayor Marty Walsh says Boston is.
We can be a city that heals the environment by opening our waterfront for all to enjoy.
Walsh also has an ambitious climate action plan, which calls for a 25% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2020 and carbon neutrality by 2050. But Norton says it'll be hard to get there if Boston keeps increasing its reliance on fossil fuels.
There's 70 million square feet of development planned for the city of Boston in the future that we know of. If the plan is to have all of that powered by natural gas, that just does not compute.
Back in October, the Boston City Council seemed to agree. In a unanimous vote, it urged Boston's Public Improvement Commission to delay giving the pipeline the go-ahead. But in December, the PIC okayed the project, and some say that was the right call.
A lot of our systems are old and require older technology.
Meg Meinzer-Cohen heads the Back Bay Association. She says the Walsh administration is already taking a number of meaningful steps to make Boston greener, but that for now, denying new developments access to an established utility just isn't realistic.
It's somewhat like saying the technology for automated vehicles is here, so nobody's allowed to drive their cars. There's a lot of agreement that down the road we would like to see more energy options, cleaner energy options. But the case I've been making is that we're not quite there yet.
But if we're not, Emily Norton argues, it's because the political will is lacking.
There's got to be other solutions out there, but we're not even telling people to go look. You know, if you're a developer, you just want to do things the way you've always been doing it. If you're National Grid, obviously you want to keep selling your gas. So unless we push back, we're never going to get to a different place.
Adam Riley joins me now. Hey there, Adam.
Hey, Jim.
So with this approval you just mentioned, is that it? Is it a done deal?
It is not a done deal because the extension is going to be paid for through this contract that One Dalton, this super high-end development that we've been seeing pictures of, inked with National Grid. The state still needs to approve that contract, the Department of Public Utilities. And Maura Healey, the Attorney General, does not think that the state should because it gives a special rate to One Dalton residents. So if the state goes along with Maura Healey and says, no, actually this contract doesn't pass muster, we'll see what happens then.
Has National Grid spoken to the environmental concerns, not the energy?
They have. I was at a meeting at the BPL where they were making their case to residents this week, and essentially they say that they have a very good record when it comes to environmental issues, that they're not like the other energy companies. They also say that natural gas is pretty good environmentally right now compared to other energy sources and is going to get better down the road.
Speaking of where is the mayor on this thing?
You know, that's a really good question. I learned from a mayoral spokeswoman, well, as always, I learned from a Marty Walsh spokeswoman that the city is committed to its climate change goals, that they're going to be looking more at seeing where new buildings are going to get their energy from down the road. But despite repeated attempts, I could not get her to tell me if the mayor supports this extension or not. I don't know where he is.
Thank you. Adam, good to see you.
Thanks, Jim.
Take care, Adam Riley.